Welcome back to the Hard Way Hanoi.
What up?
Yo.
And today we're doing our band review. And we are reviewing an amazing band in town, and they're called Red Eye Rabbit. And we're here talking to Joss. He's the drummer of the band. So what's up, Joss?
G'day, how you going? Yeah, I'm alright.
All right. So welcome. Thanks for sitting here with us. So let's first off tell us a bit about the band. The band's Red Eye Rabbit. What's your sound and all that kind of deal?
Yeah, sound. Well, we get when we play, the posters usually say Psychedelic Rock, so I guess there's a bit of Psychedelic Rock there. But we don't really like to just have one sound or be pigeonholed into one thing. So it's a bit folky, it's a bit shoegazy, it's a bit rock, it's a little bit punk. Just all of our influences.
Yeah, no, definitely. Well, I've seen you guys play, and I think that's accurate to say. And like, I love the music you guys play. I am a fan of rock, and you guys have you also a bit of a classic rock feel, a bit from some time to time. Certain songs, right? Sure. You say you grow, and different songs have different sounds and influences.
We often joke about going to jazz bars and playing stuff like that, trying to step outside of what people think we do. He's also very strongly influenced by what Dan's writing. He's a songwriter, so what he's listening to, I guess, if he's listening to someone like King Cruel, he'll go, okay, let's he's liking what he's hearing, and he's transferring that to what he's writing in the song. And then when he brings it to us, we fuck with it again, and it probably comes out sounding slightly different from what he first envisioned. So it's all the influences, really.
Yeah, so is that actually a thing? Would you guys actually consider doing something more like of a jazz kind of thing and actually play at jazz bars? Is that an actual possibility?
Yeah, Dan's full of great ideas. He's full of ideas, let's say. Many of them are great. Many of them don't come to pass, but you have to throw those ideas out there. We wouldn't say no to playing at a jazz bar. To be honest, Dan's completely fearless. He'll turn up and we'll play Psychedelic Rock at the jazz bar, and we'll see how that goes.
Yeah.
Me, I'm a little bit more cautious, maybe, but we'll play jazz bar.
Cool.
I was gonna say you guys already play punk shows, so.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's it. That's the thing with being in the scene here. There's not necessarily a bunch of other psych rock bands to play with, so we often end up on bills with bands that are not necessarily what we're doing, but if they're cool, if we're friends, if we like them, then it usually works out.
Cool. Yeah. And obviously this is the next question. When did you guys form? Who's in the band? Kind of give us a little bit of info of
so
why you named the band, all that kind of stuff.
Dan and I have been mates for some time now, and we were together in a band called Dr. Peacock.
Yes. Yes, Dr. Peacock. I've seen them play. Yeah.
I saw their last show. It's great.
Okay. Yeah. No, Dr. Peacock had a good run. Did some good shows. Really enjoyed being in that band. We're all mates in that band as well. I would say that Dr. Peacock probably formed around 2015, off the top of my head. Probably together about 3 years. I'm pretty shit with dates, so.
The last
10 years blur together, but I'm just everything's based off the birth of my son. So when he was born, I can kind of count forward. But Dr. Peacock was together for about 3 years, and eventually we disbanded. We just wanted to try different things. We're all great mates in that band. So Tash and Matthias from Dr. Peacock were eventually going to move on anyway, and actually they're both since left Vietnam, and they're having their own adventures. But Dan and I, as a drummer, you want to find a guitarist that you gel really well with, or perhaps a bass player. For me, it's usually guitarists because they're most often the songwriters. So I'm not a songwriter, so I just wanted to gel with someone that really understands my aesthetic, I guess, or my direction as a drummer. And I'm a different kind of drummer, I'd say. So I don't work well with everyone, but Dan is the guy that I work well with. So we always wanted to do something else together. The only revolving position has been the bass, and that's purely because guys have left. We started out with a guy called Seb. He was fantastic. It was really, really fun working with him, and that was how the band found its sound, really, because he brought a different influence to what Dan had and what I had. We learned to play with each other, and he's been the longest serving member, but eventually, he moved back to France. We're lucky enough to play with Madeleine from Mono Heart for a period of time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
But unfortunately, around that time, that was kind of peak COVID time. So I believe we played 2 shows with Madeleine in the end. We did a lot of practicing. It sounded really good. But eventually she decided she wanted to leave as well. As, mixture of different things, but new adventures for her. And so now we find ourselves with Jamie.
Yeah.
And so, every time we go to a new bass player, it's changed the direction a little bit. And that's cool. We like that. So kind of feel like it's a period of time where we've just been working towards playing well together and gelling, and now we're ready to go. Sounds good. We're really happy with how it sounds right now.
Cool. And why did you name the band Red Eye Rabbit? Is there a story behind that? Or?
Yeah, I mean, there are a couple of band names that we were throwing around, but they were all pretty terrible. There was, for a while we were called Rabbit Hole, I guess, and then we called ourselves Rabbit Punch, or Rabbit Punched. They're just dumb names. A rabbit punch was like a sucker punch. We like a coward's punch, and we decided that wasn't really our thing. So, then we were just playing with the
sound better than the donkey punch.
The donkey punch. We were just fucking around with variations on that. I guess I don't know which one who of us it was that suggested Red Eye Rabbit, but that just stuck.
Okay, but I did notice one thing about all the names that you were mentioning. Rabbit was in all of them.
Yeah.
Why Rabbit?
No significance.
No significance. Okay.
Not that I'm aware of. Like, it's just
because all the other ones you named had rabbit in it too.
Yeah.
It seems like you wanted to go with something that had rabbit in it.
I feel like Rabbit Hole was my idea initially, and it's a very old one. It's not a very good band name, in my own opinion. But Dan and I took that. Dan and I have been playing for a long time. Like, even I'm going to say like 2012, 2013 maybe was the first time we played together, and that was under the Rabbit Hole name. It was a one-off, like a folk kind of thing. I believe that was the first time we played together. But Rabbit Hole's just a shit band name, so but the Rabbit thing stuck.
Okay. Yeah. I always thought a good name for a band would be Karaoke Hookers.
Karaoke Hookers.
For the right kind of band. I always thought that'd be a cool name, Karaoke Hookers. For a punk band,
Yeah, exactly.
I was just a little bit of a session with Mike and Alex from the Fetans last night.
Okay. Yeah.
I love them, man.
Yeah, no, we're very good friends with those guys, and at a certain time of the night, I don't know how many beer towers we were down at that point, but we got onto band names, and a lot of really cool band names come out. I don't think any of which I'm going to repeat here. But Mike, I guess Mike keeps a list of them, so you'll have to interview him. And
definitely. Yeah. We got to bring Mike. Got it interesting. Must have some interesting stories.
You gotta interview Mike. It'll be much more interesting than I am. That'll be a good interview.
Themes are awesome, man.
All right, I feel like I'm asking too many questions. You guys talk a little bit.
I'll just say, John? I just want to say, like, the idea of Red Eye Rabbit is great. The name, because it implies that kind of stoner rock psychedelic.
Sure, and that's definitely part of what we're doing. Yeah. Both in some of the influences, what we listen to, and our general day-to-day feel, I guess. I think most importantly, we're not really trying to try on any specific genre or way of being. We're all very different people. We're all mates, and we all listen to this music, and it's pretty wide ranging. Honestly, like, I do listen to a lot of jazz. Actually, I also listen to a lot of noise rock, hip hop. It goes all over the place. Same with Dan, and same with Jamie. Jamie's, like, as a new member, I know he's coming from actually a different musical background. There's lots of influences that he brings into it that are different.
How many albums have you guys came out with?
So we've
Well, let me just do the question, just so if they don't hear you totally behind the camera. Because remember, we don't use that audio sound.
Yeah.
So, how many bands have you guys put out?
How many records? Yeah.
Since then, you said you guys Red Eye Rabbit started in 2018.
Yeah, about 2018. Yeah. We released 2 records and a live record as well, which was filmed at HRC. We did a fantastic show. I'm trying to think of who we did it with. I think it was Open Air Drug Market, perhaps, from Psycho.
Okay.
Cool.
And a couple of other bands that were fantastic. I can't remember who they were, but yeah, it was a live show we recorded just right at the end of Seb's time with the band. And yeah, we've been in the studio twice. 2 records that you can find, on streaming platforms, what have you. I guess that's where you can find them.
Yeah.
A little bit of YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Please check it out. Especially the live stuff and stuff there. It's good.
Yeah. Well, we every time we play your music, we put links to all your music and all your stuff. Yeah. So click the links at the bottom of the page of the info, and you can get their music and listen to. If you haven't and you like that kind of music, psychedelic rock music, you'll definitely like Red Eye Rabbit.
Have you guys toured a lot, like outside of Hanoi, or mostly consider yourself a Hanoi band then?
Yeah, we talk about it a lot. It's just the logistics of 3 dudes who have these fun jobs, and and we all work, and the many things in life that pull us away from having an opportunity to tour.
Sure.
I say definitely with conviction that we'd all love to tour and to play outside of Vietnam. Even we talked about, so we were lucky enough to go and play at Jai Tep
awesome.
in Chiang Mai, a couple of years ago, just before the COVID pandemic, and that experience was fantastic. We had such a good time there, and everyone in Chiang Mai was really generous with the time.
Speaking of that, Nate, what were like your top 3 venues you think you guys did? Like, what was the top 3 best shows?
Oh yeah,
top 3 venues.
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I mean, I couldn't
like you, you know what I'm saying? You got that name. You was like, yo, this shit is good, and we turned that fucking. Like, name the top 3 fucking memorable moments.
But that's a good question about the shows you guys have played and
your top 3 favorite shows.
Well, it's super subjective, obviously. Well, I wouldn't be able to answer that question without mentioning Jai Tep, because fantastic stage, fantastic sound. It was a festival,
amazing festival,
and we felt well looked after. The guys at Jai Tep were really good to us, and just the whole experience, from start to finish, was just great.
I was going to mention something. The thing I loved about Jai Tep going there, and it's a mix. It's what we need more. Is a connection between Chiang Mai. I would say Chiang Mai, Thailand, and Hanoi, Vietnam.
Yeah.
It's bridging that gap, which is so important.
Oh yeah, I mean,
there's a big scene funk scene in Chiang Mai. So,
For sure. I really love the city up there. I love the countryside. But more than that, at that time at least, it was an hour flight, so it actually felt like we were really close. The Hanoi Chiang Mai connection felt really doable.
You guys flew out.
Yeah. It was a part. It wasn't. I'm not sure the full details of what was paid to us, in that kind of situation as well. I mean, depending on what is offered to us, we're happy to contribute if it means going to play a cool place. And I mean, just to address that kind of thing, like a startup festival, it's I can't think of anything kind of more difficult and more stressful than starting up a festival and trying to attract bands to play, trying to attract people.
Sure,
definitely. For sure.
Yeah.
So whatever it is, we'll look at the event that's been put on and the people who are behind it, and if the kind of feeling, the philosophy, the vibe is good, and the people are good, and they're genuinely interested in the music, then we'll be a part of that. And, depending on if we can. But that was fantastic. If I'm in Hanoi and I'm playing, I couldn't not mention Whiskey Mystics and Men.
Okay.
Oh yes, of course. We love Whiskey Mystics and Men.
It's a great one. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's
model
heaps of
venue.
venues that come up. Some can't come, some go. Some have been great, some have been not so great. I'm not really about calling out ones that are not so great, but Kwang at Whiskey is just always a very sound dude, and there's something about that venue as well. When you really pack it out, like it's a confrontational venue. You can't just go there and hide in a corner.
No, exactly.
True.
If you're there to see a punk rock show. And there's just been a handful of shows that we've played there. We played one with Mono Heart just after the COVID restrictions were lifted, and I don't know. There's just been a handful where the energy has been next level. It's just been very good. So we enjoy it. It's not the biggest venue in town, but it's probably all of us just really enjoy playing that.
Well, and that's the thing. I think sometimes there's many different factors of what makes a good venue for a band or for a person.
Yeah.
Doesn't always mean it needs to be the biggest venue or whatever. I think there's a lot of comes like Kwang, the owner, a nice guy to deal with.
Oh yeah.
All these different factors that really come in. And some of these other really nice big places in town aren't as fun to play with just because there's missing those other parts or harder to deal with. Or
I think it's always really nice when you get treated well by the people at the venue.
Yeah.
I mean,
of course, I think that's important.
And to be clear, we're lucky people. We all have jobs, but we all very deeply invested in music and playing music. But it's also fun for us, so it's okay. We don't need to do it necessarily. It's not like our first way of making money.
Yeah.
So that's not always the biggest deal for us. We want to play interesting places. We want to play to interesting people. I mean, if Dan were here, he would say he just loves a new audience. He's willing to play places that we normally wouldn't play just because there might be a new audience out there. For me, I always feel like I want to connect more with a Vietnamese audience. And it's been interesting over the years. Probably when I first came here, I felt like there were two separate scenes. I felt like I've played in bands since 2007 here.
Wow.
A band that I played in 2007, a show that we might do, you would predominantly see Western basses in the crowd, which is fine. But I've always been interested, obviously, in trying to connect with the Vietnamese audience. And
cool. Yeah, that's good.
Well,
we've been lucky to play with some young Vietnamese bands. Nam Te Zo is the band we're playing with tonight. Who we're all big fans of their music, and that's fun for us. We just go along and listen to their music and try and connect with their crowd, and that feels pretty rewarding to us. And if we're doing that at La Bodega actually, and it's another venue that I really enjoy playing.
Yeah, La Bodega is a cool venue. Yeah,
it is. There's such a good vibe out there. People are always like, man, it's so far away, but actually,
not for us.
You will know that in Long Bien. Long Bien is one bridge away. It's really close.
It's not that far.
No, it's not far at all.
People think just because it's over the bridge, it's all of a sudden like.
I have to admit, I've lived in Tejo a long time, and that's just because I think the main reason I had a kid here, and it's a better perhaps community for a kid to be growing up. But I'm fascinated with Long Bien. I think it's a really nice part of town. And,
well, when you mention that, actually, what's really happened to Long Bien in the last little while is that it's a lot more of a family vibe. And
totally, yeah.
Because of the French private school and everything, so there's a lot of French families and other families out there and stuff like that. So it's definitely changed a lot since I've been here.
And ironically, talking about Tejo, but my feeling about Tejo at the moment is that it feels a little suffocated, really.
Yeah.
There's a lot of construction.
Big bubble.
And it's not as enjoyable place to hang out. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's still it's where I live and all of that. I'm fine, but I would definitely live in Long Bien. And as for La Bodega, fantastic vibe. And again, it comes down to Jeremy, the owner. He's such a lovely guy. When the band turns up, he's there to shake hands, and we all have beers, and he cares about the sound check, and he's just a guy that lives to cook pizza and have bands, which two things I can get on board with,
Yeah, their pizza's good too. Their pizza's real good.
Yeah. So I definitely come out and support people at La Bodega.
But they'll play lots of shows. This band plays. This band is a hardcore. They're always playing shows, which is great. Because if people don't know, a lot of bands they come and go here, which people move. So
in the end, we just like playing, right? And sometimes for me, I'm a bit more cautious. I might play that shows, choose the shows we play, create a little bit of a buzz for a show, but it can be hard. And in theory, that's a good idea. It's what we should do, but it can be hard to balance with. It's like, well, it's a weekend. We get paid some money to go and do what we love doing in front of people. So
lucky.
It's hard to say no to that.
Well, when you say you want to pick shows and stuff, I guess you guys I don't think other bands and people are conscious about the fact that you don't want to play too many, kind of like be out there too much, and then people might,
Yeah. I've heard it said that people are like, well, let's catch a Red Eyed Rabbit show, and they're like, nah, it's okay that we played next week. Don't stress too much.
Right.
But at the same time, if we're choosing different venues, trying to reach different audiences, I think there's something to be said about that. For example, when we play La Bodega, I feel like there's a certain crowd of people that will go out there, and that includes
that you don't get it with some of the other venues.
Yeah, for sure. And that includes some of the French community.
Definitely.
We feel like we've had a little bit of a connection with the French community since, like, Seb played bass in the band, and he had fantastic friends that would come along and see us, really generous with their time and all of that. So that would be a reason to play La Bodega, one of the many reasons. But then if we're at Whiskey, it might be a different crowd of people that want to come. So for us, that's two different shows.
And it's good to have a festivals like this happening again, as, I think that we kind of need it more. As, we used to have another festival that was very big, but, that ended up dying out. And that was, I think, a big blow to the music community here when Quest ended up going over and all that. Because it was a big, for everybody every year, a lot of the bands in town and artists were gearing up for it. It was a good stage. They made a great platform for everybody in town and other artists from Saigon and Bangkok and all that. And it was really good. And I think that kind of helped grow things and maybe motivated some people more than not having something. And when that went, I think that was a big blow.
Definitely a big blow. I mean, part of it is about putting a town on the map and having, Axel. There's so many fantastic acts around Southeast Asia, for example. And when Quest was a festival, put Hanoi on the map. And if it had have been able to continue, then eventually you would have attracted artists, really quite big artists.
Big headliners eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. And that always trickles down more for any community. And for bands who were just starting out, if they were Western, if they were Vietnamese, wherever they were coming from, it became like one of those things like, can we get on that Quest bill this year and be a part of that? But it also is testament to how bloody hard it is to put on those events and have them come off and people always assume, there's shit happening everywhere. You guys must be raking it in. There must be heaps of money being made, but it's a hustle.
It's
to do
true.
That.
Like a lot of people have that thing where it's like, the ticket costs this much. You have this many people. Yeah, but they don't realize how much money and stuff goes into building stages, paying staff,
artists.
Artists. At the end of the day, when you're putting on a big festival, you have all these different bands and all these different stages and food and, it's a couple days of a festival. There's a lot of money and stuff that goes into it. So I wouldn't say they made as much money as some people thought they did.
I have no doubt that they didn't make as much money as people. It's things like security, for example. People are like, well, there's security guards there, whatever, but like that's a massive chunk of the budget. Just to pay men and women to be there on site. Paying for the site itself, that's a huge chunk of budget that people don't. People just assume
the rent.
that you just made that it was good for the venue, so it was a mutual agreement. But no, you have to pay rent on that venue,
especially for those kind of venues. Yeah.
But so with that being said, Quest was fantastic while it was about. Sometimes these things just have to come to an end, and but when a new one comes up, like Bloom,
I'm hoping that Bloom can kind of because to me it's not. I'm not going to say it's like Quest, but it does have the art. Like there's art installations. There's the kind of same kind of not totally same kind of music, but like good rock bands and DJs and all this kind of stuff. And it is a community thing, which kind of what Quest was as well. It was really about the community. The community itself really built that festival and made it what it was throughout the 5-6 years. I think it was
absolutely
in things. So that's why I hope it's
there's a new scene really. I mean that's the thing about this scene. Coming from an outsider's point of view, it's transient because outsiders come and go.
Exactly right. The revolving door of Hanoi
for sure. But I've also seen like obviously the Vietnamese scene has been there all along, whether or not we've seen it. But what I see now is the youth scene is massive. Like in the last 10 years, it's come along so far since when I was first here. And,
oh, for sure. Yeah. So I wanted to go back because I got really one more question about the band.
Sure.
I was in my head while we were talking and I didn't get it out yet. But you're talking about before you're playing off of influences, and that's what that's how you make the music, and that's how a lot of people make music. What are some of the biggest influences on Red Eye Rabbit? Like, what are some of the band's biggest influences?
Yeah, it's I can list off heaps of bands, I guess, with 3 members coming from different backgrounds. It's more about what we agree on. I think we can't, it's important to say Dan writes the songs, so the influences come from him first, and he's listening to so much stuff. My favorite thing to do, I don't do it often enough, but when I do go over to his house and just kind of lay on the floor, and he'll just put a SoundCloud mix on that he has. The artists, I've never heard of any of them, but the music is diverse and amazing, and it's basically all amazing. But I mentioned King Cruel before. He's been listening to a lot of King Cruel recently. King Cruel's a guy that I listen to as well. And, some of his stuff comes from there. Stuff that Dan listens to, I'm actually drawing a blank. I'm trying to think of bands that he listens to a lot, but let's just say it's diverse. For me as a drummer, like I said, I listen to a lot of jazz. I like jazz drumming. Really like drumming that sits outside of the box in some way. Actually, I was lucky enough to be in Saigon to see Jack White last week, and his drummer, I can't remember his name, he's a hip hop drummer though, got a fantastic unorthodox style of playing. So I say, it's a bit vague on Saturday morning, but check out Jack White, check out his drummer, fantastic. I don't know. Bands are kind of eluding me.
Okay, You know what? That was good enough an answer for me anyway. So still went through the process. But there's a lot of different bands, and all need influences. But I thought that,
Yeah.
And
I would say like a band, like we were talking about Seven Rubber Cups and you guys, that mixed styles of music together,
Yeah.
So you never know what to expect.
That's what we want, right? We want to listen to some King Cruel and some Sonic Youth and some kind of hip hop that we like in Jurassic 5 or something, I don't know, something like that. It's all coming together, and then something classic as well. And then it's a mix, right? That's what I would prefer. Any kind of music to be a great mix of things rather than just one thing.
All right, cool. Well, I want to thank you for coming and talking to us. I think it was a great conversation. I think you're a great musician.
Thank you.
A great person.
And
a great poet as well, too. We didn't talk about that. Maybe we'll talk about that another time, about the poetry scene here and all that kind of stuff. Because
really, in the end, my favorite thing is just to talk about shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So.
But it's kind of time for us to wrap this up. My camera guy said it's time.
All right.
It's time, man.
So we're gonna play a song from Red Eye Rabbit now. You wanna?
Yeah, I believe that we're gonna play Riot.
Yes.
It's a song off the first record we made, which I think is called Darkness in a Dream. If it's not, then that's that. I'm the drummer, so you can't expect too much from me. But Riot's gonna be the song. It's gonna be a great song, and hope you enjoy it.
All right, there you go.
Right
Thanks for talking with us.
Thanks,
guys. 3 the Hard Way Hanoi.
3 the Hard Way.
Here's Red Eye Rabbit.
Yeah, rock 'em.
No doubt, it's 3 the Hard Way. 3 the Hard Way.
3 the Hard Way.
play a song from our first album next. These leggings are tighter than I thought. We're gonna go play a song called Riot. It's only the second song.
Starting a riot, starting to cause me some pain. Starting to turn, starting to move against the grain. When your turn against the wall, just so you can hear yourself call. Oh, send her, oh, send nothing at all. Oh, send her, oh, send nothing at all. Keep finding new ways to make things worse. Keep taking new risks without knowing what anything is really worth. When your turn against the wall, just so you can hear yourself call. Oh, send her, oh, send nothing at all. Oh, send her, oh, send nothing at all. She's the one who knows it all. Oh, she's the one who knows. She's the one who knows.
Thank you so much. Thank you. That was a lot of yin. Whew.